Hi, my name is Nomalanga Mhlauli-Moses with Healthy Black Woman, and this is my good friend Shaquita Graham with LovingTheBlackMan.com and TechCo.com. How are you doing today, Shaquita?
I'm doing great, Noma. How are you?
Oh, I'm not complaining. So you had a story that piqued your interest about Cam Newton. My full disclosure is I don't really follow sports that well. So this was a story that you kind of related to me. So can you tell me a little bit about what the story is and how it's unfolding?
Well, once again, we have all of these attacks on various black men for just seeming to be just ridiculous reasons. So Cam has been attacked for being too happy. Now he's being attacked for being too sad. It's like everybody has some type of justification why they have to attack Cam Newton. And I just think it's ridiculous. I mean, as far as him being, he's been accused of being a sore loser because he left from the Super Bowl press conference early. Before that, he was accused of being too enthusiastic when he does win. And then a player, a former NFL player, his name is Bill Romanowski. I may have his last name a little wrong, who has committed several crimes against fellow teammates, called him a boy. So the thing is he really being called a boy because he was supposedly a sore loser or what? I mean, Cam Newton himself has said that reportedly he said, I'm on record as being a sore loser. I hate losing. You show me a good loser and I'll show you a loser. I mean, what do you think this says about a racial climate, or do you think it's really about sports or his character?
Well, the word boy, when you hear a white male referring to a black man as boy, and they're not friends, and he's not saying it in a conversation that's friendly and easygoing, then of course you immediately start to reference the history behind that. So I'm given to understand that slave masters call their black slaves boy. They didn't use their names and they called them boy. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? Yeah. So that's the first thing. Then the second thing is he was called a sore loser, as I understand, because he had a bad attitude after he lost. No? Am I right so far?
He basically left the press conference early and didn't have much to say, which is usually there's a coach by the name of Gregg Popovich, and people applaud him for having a really sarcastic tone about himself when people talk to him, whether he's winning or losing. So it's the same kind of thing. He just was not happy about losing the Super Bowl.
Okay. So you're saying that Cam Newton's, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're saying that Cam Newton's behavior was understandable. He lost, and he didn't behave the way people thought that he didn't behave the way that people thought that he should behave, but his behavior was still understandable under the circumstances.
Yeah, I'm basically saying that this is indicative of you can't win. I mean, if Cam is too happy, it's a problem. If he's too sad, it's a problem. I mean, we have seen every range of emotion in a post-game or pre-game interview, but now all of a sudden everything that Cam Newton is doing is being critiqued. And even in this article, Atlanta Black Star did a great article about this, and it says, the self-appointed police of black people will insist that we act a certain way to please them. And this is what it comes down to. It's like all the time people have to constantly be telling black people how they should be behaving. However, other groups can, murder black people. They can commit heinous acts all around the world. But God forbid you say anything about that. But if this person doesn't smile on cue, or if this person, just doesn't want to answer ridiculous questions or be put in any kind of circumstance that they feel uncomfortable with and voice that, then, it's a problem with this person's character. And I just don't think that people who go around the world raping and killing and mutilating people are in any position to tell anyone else what is good character. Just because you smile at a camera doesn't make you the portrait of good character. I mean, you have people like Rob Lowe, who was caught in messing with an underage woman who's commenting about Cam Newton. Then you have the guy Bill Romanowski, who ended a NFL player's career from throwing a football or doing something to crush his eye socket, apparently, another black man. So these people have actually harmed people, have broken the law, and then they sit as the moral judge of Cam Newton about a press conference. That is the kind of sickness that these people, the lengths that they go to criticize black people for really just being black.
Okay. So the criticism, what I'm hearing is the criticism isn't really about his behavior necessarily, which would be overlooked if he wasn't a black man. I do remember where they were saying, this was all before the Super Bowl even went down, and they were saying that he's so arrogant and so prideful, and he has no sense of, behaving the way that he should behave, which I'm still not clear about. I'm not sure what that means, the way he's supposed to behave. And then afterwards, isn't he the one, though, who called himself a sore loser?
I mean, again, he said, I'm on record as being a sore loser. I hate losing. I mean, to me, he's saying, if you have a problem with me being a sore loser, that's your problem, because I'm a person who hates losing, and I stand by that. And I just feel like if, we are supposed to let people be themselves. You can't praise Popovich and praise Kobe Bryant when they have these moments of just kind of borderline arrogant and condescending behavior. But then you look at Cam Newton, and he has to act a certain way. And there's a long history in America about this. Like, black people have to act so-called right. And right is always defined by some white person. But we ask them to do things like just stop being psychopathic and murderous, and that's a problem. Beyonce has a video that at the end says stop shooting us or stop killing our kids or something similar to that, and that's a problem. For us to say things like that, or to say Black Lives Matter, there's such a backlash, or to even say black is beautiful, like all of that is a problem. Right. And it's just ridiculous. And I think that what we have to do is, again, we have to defend and protect those people like Cam Newton. Even when Marshawn Lynch was being attacked, I was against that. And I think we should, again, protect the men in our community, the women in our community, the children in our community, and not let anybody define that, because you have people coming out, black people saying, oh, well, Cam should have done this. You can't, that's a grown man. He can do whatever he wants to do, and you need to respect him. Right. He's good at what he does, and he's making his own statement that means something to him.
Right. I actually remember when, for years and years, when Serena Williams and Venus Williams are dominating the tennis world. And that's actually one sport I love and that I actually can watch and keep up with. And I can remember they were winning. They were dominating. I think at one time they were seeded number 1 and number 2, meaning in the world they were the top 2 best players. But the conversation really stayed away from their winning and went on to how they behave on the court, and focused a lot on their attire. Always the photographs that they would take of them would try to humiliate them with their skirts flying up and their, their outfits not being quite right, or apparently their earrings were too big, their hairstyles were not right. There was always something, or if they got upset, which all athletes, sportsmen, whatever, they get upset. They all have a moment sometimes where they slam their racket down or slam something down or whatever. But I always felt like it was overplayed with the Williams sisters. And I watched that happening for years and years because I was an avid tennis watcher. And what I'm reminded of is that like I said, I don't watch that much football. In fact, I don't watch any at all. But what I'm reminded of is that with the Williams sisters, I do remember, though, that they just remained focused on their game and remained focused on winning. And that is something I can appreciate. With Cam Newton, Marshawn Lynch, I haven't had a chance to see what they have to say outside of where they're performing, whether it's the football field, basketball court, whatever it is. I haven't had a chance to see what they're saying. Even then, I can honestly say I don't think that they should have to conform to what anybody says, as long as they do what they're supposed to do, in the sense that they show up on game day, they play, they win, and they go home. That's what they're obligated to do, and that's all there is to it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think just to round out the conversation, I think the lesson here is that, again, we're at the 500-year coincidence. There's always been a double standard. There always will be. How do we address that? Make it one standard and let it be the standard of your community and of self-respect for the people in your community as well as yourself. And really tune out all the naysayers. I mean, I love what Marshawn Lynch did. He apparently was stacking his FU money, and you can tell when he would go into a press conference, he really didn't care. And reportedly, he saved every dime that he's made, or most of the money he's made from the NFL, and has amassed over $49 million. And I think that's the way you do it. You go in there, you make your money, you do your thing, you let them do their thing, and when you're done, you're done.
Right. I like that idea of the FU money. It's always good to have FU money, because then people can't control what you say and what you do. On that note, my name is Nomalanga Mhlauli-Moses with Healthy Black Woman, and this is Shaquita Graham with Ateco.com and lovingtheblackman.com. And the reason why I say on that note is because we're both building our own platforms where we can say what we want, do what we want, promote what we want, and I always think that that's a beautiful thing. So I want to say to you, Shaquita, thank you for having this conversation with me. And to our Your Black World and Your Black Women audience, thank you for watching. And this has been a segment of Your Black Women, where Black women keep it real. Thank you for watching.
Thank you, Noma.